Operationally, Flooring and Chemicals Group Accentuators had a better first half with a clamp down on costs, boosting operating profit by 46% to almost 11 million rand on a slight lift in turnover. But the period contained some very nasty surprises. The discovery of fraudulent payments crafted by the financial director of its East London Floorworks division, who it turns out has successfully fleeced Floorworks and Accentuate to the tune of 70 million rand over 10 years. Joining me now in studio is CEO Fred Platt. Fred, thanks very much for coming to studio.
Thank you very much.
Fred, you truly have had some nasty experiences over the last couple of years. You just had the departure of a shareholder, a hindrance to the group. That seemed to have gotten out of the way. Now this, what actually happened?
Yeah, unfortunate. I thought this would be a good Christmas for us and a restful one. However, we investigated or identified certain breaches, or what we believe to be certain breaches, at our East London facility, and unfortunately they were found to be true. And on the 8th of December, we concluded our investigations and found in the region of about 70 million had been fleeced.
I mean, over a decade. So, and that's a substantial amount of money for a smaller company, and a smaller company that had been going through some operational difficulties. Are you confident of getting any of that back?
Yeah, I think the process, we understand that, we've launched a number of applications. So we're in the hands of the criminal justice system with regards to the criminal prosecution. We have opened a number of civil claims, and we're working very closely with the asset forfeiture unit in order to try and recover. So we have three focuses. One is to ensure that we've blocked all the holes. The second thing is to pursue the criminal prosecution, and thirdly then to recover as much as we can. The quantum we're uncertain of at this point in time.
But is this going to take up a lot of management time? And once again, it seems a distraction then to running the business. You're now holed up with I suppose trying to recover money that was stolen from you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because for the last 5 years, as you know, we were distracted with the shareholder issue, and we got to a situation where we could just start focusing back on the business. However, I think the systems that we've put in place include external parties in order to free up management time and our focus, and we certainly will not be distracted by this. However, we need to keep our eye on the process.
Clearly. I mean, operationally though, as I said, it seems to have been a better performance. So your operating profits were up, even though revenue was only slightly higher over the period. So there clearly were quite a lot of costs that you took out of the business in order to get those profits up. I mean, perhaps you could characterize the period for us.
Yeah, I think as we mentioned the last time we spoke, we need to become a global player. We need to become globally competitive. And so there was a huge focus on efficiency and on costs, and I think that is reflected in the figures. And we're very happy that the figures form a base for us going forward. So it's not only the management of operational costs. Operational costs have remained flat over the last 3 years. And in fact, in the year or the 6 month under review, we've seen a 2% reduction in operating costs. Obviously, we've also managed margins within a very, very difficult trading environment. And then hopefully, with the hole being blocked, we will be in a much better position to be competitive both here and internationally.
But that also then begs the question, where's the growth going to come from? Because obviously you do want to see some top-line growth. So what is Accentuate pursuing? Well,
I think if we look at the South African market, we understand that we're in for a pretty rough ride for the next year or two. So we're under no illusions that we're not going to have great volume growth within the domestic market. The relative weakness of the currency does, however, position us well to increase our market share relative to the foreign importers. So that's one thing. But I think what it has done is it's focused us into markets that we traditionally maybe haven't looked at, those being major Western European and American markets for our product, and we're very confident that we could get into those.
I mean, have you actually got into any of those markets? Have you started, have you got any customers? Have you started exporting any product, or are those still in the pipeline?
They're in the pipeline. I think we've progressed quite a while down the line. It's not our intention to establish ourselves into any of those markets, so we've had to identify current distribution channels, and very much distribution channels where we could take our product in and potentially have reciprocal business for those businesses back into the South African and African market. And I believe we've made some good progress in that regard, and we're hoping by the next time we report, we would hopefully be in a position to give some more information.
I mean, because you're also looking, you say that you're looking at acquiring businesses at reasonable prices. As a result of the weak rand, which presumably is putting pressure on smaller companies, I mean, are there a few distressed assets out there that you could pick up in order to grow South African market share? Yeah,
I think that we realize, specifically in our chemical business, that we would need to grow through acquisition, and we have identified a number of potential businesses at the right price. I think that we can provide a home, having dealt with many of the issues. I think that we can now offer a home to many of these companies, and we can really live out the dream that we've held for Accenture.
I mean, do you think you'll have shareholder support? Because clearly shareholders have had to weather, I mean, a few tough years. So you had a shareholder that held you back, didn't agree with the strategy of the business. You've now discovered this fraudulent activity in the business. I mean, do you think shareholders, can you still, I suppose, earn the benefit of the doubt for people for your future prospects?
I'm very fortunate. I'm in a position to answer that question 100%. We have 100% support from our shareholder base. So we're very, very fortunate, and we understand that they have faced a number of challenges with us. But I think everybody also realizes that we're sitting on an asset which, if positioned correctly, can provide great returns to our shareholders.
And what about, just lastly, the water treatment business and the venture with Iron yet? Can one expect anything soon?
Yeah, well, soon is a difficult term. We're working on sizable projects in that space, specifically in both the treatment of alternative water sources. So if you're looking at areas like desalinization or that, as well as in the recycle and reuse of it, which is on the other side, which is where it's really undertraded within the South African market. But these are sizable projects, and they have got a certain lifespan to them before they really mature, and I'm confident that we are already starting to see some of those come through.
Okay, Fred, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Fred Platt is the CEO of Accenture.